Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now is, right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hi, it's Eva Longoria, and let's be real. After 40, we should ask for more from our skincare. I swear by Revitalift Triple Power Moisturizer by L'Oreal Paris. With vitamin C, pro-retinol, and hyaluronic acid, it reduces my wrinkles, firms, and brightens. And it's not a procedure. It's just a hard-working moisturizer.
Revitalift Triple Power Moisturizer by L'Oreal Paris. Grab it today in fragrance-free or with SPF 30. Available at your local Target.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And now we're sitting here and we're listening to nonsense about health care. Where my colleagues on the other side of the aisle sit here saying, well, you guys aren't doing anything about the massive expensive cost of health care. Why do you think it's expensive? Because you literally cut a deal with insurance companies to run health care. You think that's going to run wild? Yeah. That's why they have 2,000% profit increases, and the American people can't afford to go to the doctor of their choice while we enrich insurance companies. And yet Republicans will complain about it, and then they'll offer milquetoast garbage like we're offering this week, and then go home at Christmas and say, look at what we're doing. We're campaigning on reducing health care. Well, congratulations. At some point, people will look at this body and say, maybe we should get rid of all 435 members of the House and all 100 members of the Senate and start over, because Congress is literally failing the American people. I yield back.
Yes. And that was a very good analysis coming from Texas Representative Chip Roy. 4 Republicans, my friend, have joined with the Democrats in the House to give the Democrats what they wanted, including Mike Lawler and 3 others from Pennsylvania. It's unconscionable, or 2 others from Pennsylvania. It's unconscionable what goes on in that body. Welcome, my friends, to the Wednesday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour, fastest hour in American media. We will get to all of that and so much more. But first things first. I want to send some love to a dear colleague of mine who I just love this guy, Sid Rosenberg. Sid, for those of you that don't know, does mornings on our flagship station. We are on many stations across this beautiful nation. And forgive me if you don't know, the people involved in all of that. But Sid is one of the most widely respected and successful people in this entire radio industry. He is just dominating in the mornings of New York radio, which is a very, very difficult thing for anyone to do. He is amazing. Sid Rosenberg is just a wonderful human being. I love him dearly. He was at the White House yesterday, and this is what it sounded like at the White House Hanukkah party yesterday.
Oh, no. Sid Rosenberg. Yes. There he is, Sid. Do you want to come up here, Sid? Mark, should I let Sid come up, Mark? I think so. Come on, Sid. So Sid's got the #1 radio show in New York. Got the #1 radio show in New York, like by far, ABC. Works for a really nice guy, too. Actually, he's not that nice, but he's nice as far as I'm concerned. He works for a good man. Say a few words, Sid. Thank you.
I love him. Do you all love him? Has there been a president even close to this guy, even close? And now I know what I love him. He starts tonight talking about Australia. Good luck with anybody else in our government, starting with the Jewish people in Australia. Nobody better. And the fact that you called me up on stage, I'm going to say this. My beautiful wife Danielle's in the audience. The birth of my 2 children. Outside of that, President Trump, this right now is the greatest moment of my life. Thank you. He's
He's almost crying. He never cried. He hasn't cried since he's a baby. Well, he's a great guy and a great man, and he loves Israel.
And congratulations, Sid, for being acknowledged for being a great man. More important than anything else. More important than all of the success. And you deserve every single ounce of success that comes your way. You deserve it, Sid. But more than that, a great man. And that's what you are, Sid. And so thank you, President Trump, for acknowledging that for our dear colleague and friend, Sid Rosenberg. Sid, you're just amazing. Now, let's get on to the story of healthcare. Yesterday, I was fair, and I think no one can say I wasn't fair with Mike Lawler. I played 5 minutes of Mike Lawler yesterday, and at the conclusion of it, I said Mike Lawler made some great points. Because he did. And Mike Lawler is not an unintelligent person. There are a lot of people calling him a rhino today. I'm going to avoid the name calling, but I am going to say that what took place today with this discharge petition, I don't understand the logic of it. I understand why he's doing it. He's upset, and he has every right to be upset, just like Chip Roy was upset. I think that, but this is just, to me, unconscionable, the way to go about it. So, Lawler and 3 other Republicans signed on with this Democrat 3-year open plan to continue the Obamacare scam subsidies. Why is it a scam? Because, as you heard Chip Roy say, what has Obamacare done? It has turned over it to big insurance the health care of American citizens, and for what, 6%, 7% of the population, it's, in turn, the big insurance companies do what? They fund the Democrat Party. 80%, almost 80% of the donations made from big insurance, big health care insurance, go to Democrats. What is even worse, if for people that don't understand how devious this whole thing is, Dr. Peter Miklos was on with us a few weeks back. One of the things that he explained is this: look, what you pay out of pocket is so high, your premiums. We're talking in thousands of dollars in some cases, that a lot of people never use their plan because they can't afford the out-of-pocket, and that's even with the Obamacare bronze plan. But insurance companies get paid anyway. They get the subsidy money. So they set the prices so people can't use it, so they don't have to deliver services, and then they collect the money. It is a scam. And these insurance companies have gone up, in fact, 2,000% since this awful Obamacare monstrosity scheme voted on only by Democrats, no Republican involvement at all, and now it's the Republicans' fault. So you got Republicans like Mike Lawler signing on to this idea of a discharge petition that will bring this vote to a floor now over the wishes of the leadership in their own party, because he's just so high and mighty incensed that nothing is being done. And liberals are doing what? Well, let's listen to how this was announced. This is cut 9 by Representative Amelia Sykes, Democrat, who was holding a presser when it was announced that you had these 4 Republican defectors.
We have all been fighting for this coverage. Co-sponsoring Rep. Underwood's Healthcare Affordability Act, urging leadership to act in introducing legislation to stop harmful ACA rule that could force 2 million people off coverage and bury families in paperwork. Even some Republicans agree that action is urgent. Our colleague, Republican Mike Lawler, called the Speaker's refusal to allow a vote on extending these subsidies idiotic and political malpractice, as premiums are poised to rise. Rep. Lawler, I agree. Idiotic and political malpractice are both adequately representing what the Speaker is doing. But I would also add that it is cruel and mean-spirited. So in response, because we believe in solutions and problem solving, Democrats propose a clean 3-year extension of the affordable tax credits. 214 Democrats have signed on. And as of a couple of seconds ago, when the speaker gave me this note, we have now made it to 218 signatures.
Yay! Let's celebrate! The Republicans turned on their own. They're eating their own. Oh, by the way, they're a bunch of mean-spirited bastards. Like we always say, the Republicans are just horrible bastards that don't want anybody to have health care. Even the illegal immigrants, they don't want them to have health care. We do. And so, yeah, we're so happy that 4 Republicans signed on with us. They're bastards, aren't they? They're horrible bastards. And 4 of those bastards turned against their own. Yay! You happy, Mike? Are you freaking liberal, moderate Republicans, whatever you want to call yourselves, happy now? You got on the Democrat talking point list. This is all you accomplished. Because guess what? It is not going to pass the Senate. But what you have done is now put Democrat talking points and their media on a campaign to try to target Senate Republicans to change their votes now. That's all you have accomplished here. You don't understand the big play. Apparently, you're just so hot and bothered with your ego. I just gotta be, well, this is idiotic. We're not voting. You're not the damn Speaker of the House, Mike. You're a backbencher, but you gotta have your way. You and these other 3, so go along and side up with the Democrats on this phony health care scheme that should have been abolished years ago, except for another one of your type, Senator John McCain, who out of spite left us with this Obamacare fiasco. People are so sick of you Republicans. They're sick of the Republicans like you. You're the one they're sick of. And I'm going to tell you again, not so you don't think I'm mean. The man had good points. I played him yesterday. He's right about the issues. He's not right about the politics. Everything this guy said yesterday about the complaints about Obamacare that he and others were trying to address, because he understands that this is not Obamacare is a broken program. And he said yesterday, we could fix this in 1 day. But he acknowledged that Democrats wanted the issue, and that's why they didn't want to fix it. And so, Mike, you and your buddies just gave them the issue for 2028.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
I got a text from Lady Benedict during the break. It's so disappointing that the Republicans haven't supported our president yet again. But she says she was at the hairstylist today. One of the hairdressers complaining that her health care bill goes up by $600 with all of this. And unfortunately, Republicans are getting blamed because they're in control. That's the message out there. They know what's hitting them in their pockets, and the media will run with the whole affordability message. And yes, that's true. But this is where it really comes down to it. And I have said this over the ages too. It's not enough to stand on the sidelines and whine about Obamacare. I have been saying for years, Republicans need to come up with their own plan, period. And there is no excuse for that. And this is one of the things that I agree with Mike Lawler about, and these other Republicans, and Chip Roy, who's saying the same thing. And leadership does not seem to understand. Mike Johnson saying, yeah, we have a plan. This little flimsy plan they put up the other day was a bunch of garbage. I looked at it and I said, what? This is it? It's nothing. So Republicans have a responsibility, but the point is that they could have used Look, all this is going to do is put another pressure campaign on the Senate Republicans. Notice, the Democrats, not one of them broke to sign a Republican discharge petition. There was one out there to put their version. Democrats didn't break. They stood party rank. So what did Mike and the gang do? They run over and jump with the Democrats like Republicans always do. The Democrats stay strong on whatever it is. The Republicans somehow or another can't figure that out and can't figure out the politics, the long-term politics of this. And both parties have failed and are failing the American people by handing over their health care to big insurance. You know who else is out there running off her mouth? Marjorie Taylor Greene, but I don't have time to play it right now. Scott Jennings, by the way, has the best, even though he wasn't talking about her, has the best retort to that. We will get there. Also, Venezuela in the news. Folks, this stuff that's going on is big with this blockade of oil sanction. And it goes back. The story isn't just here. There's a story that goes back to the 1990s with Hugo Chavez nationalizing and kicking Americans out of Venezuela. And it all goes back to that. But this is a big deal. And then there's that woman at Target that had on a red shirt, as Target wants. It was a Charlie Kirk shirt, and some liberal just decides she's going to rag this woman, this poor woman. And then there's the fallout from Reiner. All that and more. Don't go away.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
All right, I got so much stuff. Got to get to it. Sound bites. All right, let's get this Marjorie Taylor Greene thing out of the way right now. Here you go, CNN. Her new best network, CNN. I wonder if they're going to offer her a job.
It's clearly also really tragic just for the Reiner family.
Caitlin Collins.
Oh, yes. I mean, you have no problem calling out what the president said, but why do you think other Republicans have struggled to do so?
I can't comprehend it, but Caitlin, I'd like to point something out. Just last week, and I think the dam is breaking. Many Republicans may not have called him out, but last week 13 Republicans voted with Democrats to overturn one of President Trump's executive orders, which enabled him to fire federal workers. We also saw Indiana Republicans
was in that too.
Vote against redistricting. He didn't call any of them traitors and call for primaries against them. But yes, I would like to say that is a sign where you're seeing Republicans, they're entering the campaign phase for 2026, which is a large signal that lame duck season has begun and that Republicans will go all in for themselves in order to save their own reelections.
You think the dam is breaking? And
So, the dam is breaking. Republicans are going to go for themselves. By the way, Donald Trump did call for primaries for those Indiana Republicans that defected. That bunch that wanted the unions, there's no surprise there. Mike Lawler is in that one too. And a bunch of the other Northeast Democrats who are in swing districts. Okay? So, now, Scott Jennings on CNN, they were arguing with the usual. They should just call it, instead of the Abby show, they should call it the Scott Jennings show, because he's the real star of that show. Anyway, Scott Jennings had this retort to another argument about Trump's viability.
Look, I've been hearing for 10 years that Trump's going to lose his base over this or that or the other. And for millions upon millions of Republicans who support what he's doing, who have lived through the last 10 years, they have learned to take Donald Trump for who he is, all in, all the time. And they are very appreciative of what he's doing for the country. They like what he's done on taxes. They like what he's doing on immigration. They like that he lives up to his campaign promises. But we're living through another moment here where a bunch of people are going to come out and make predictions about Trump and the base and this and that. And the reality is, it's not true. There are going to be a lot of people who don't like this statement, and then they're going to assess the state of American politics and assess the alternative and say, I knew what I was signing up for when I voted for him 3 times, and I'm going to ride it out. He is the most consequential political force in the modern era. He is the strongest party boss either party has ever seen. He got more votes each time he appeared on the ballot. He has people that will only vote for him. That puts you in a different realm. I mean, when you're that kind of and two-term presidents often have this, but you cannot deny, he is the most consequential political force of the modern era of either party.
I don't want to.
And absolutely right. Now, he was talking in part about the remarks that he made about the deceased Rob Reiner and his wife. By the way, quick updates on all of that. The son appeared in court, didn't say much, just when he was in court, it was just, yes, Your Honor, when the judge asked him if he understood that he had the right to a speedy trial. The Reiner children have come out and said that they've talked about the unimaginable pain, and yes, they must be. I just can't even imagine it. I cannot even imagine it. And so, yes, they are right. The unimaginable pain that they are experiencing at the death of both of their parents. Words cannot even begin to describe the unimaginable pain we're experiencing every moment of the day. The horrific and devastating loss of our parents, Rob and Michelle Reiner, is something that no one should ever experience. They weren't just our parents, they were our best friend. They said they're grateful for the outpouring of condolences, kindness, and support they've received, not only from the family and friends, but from people from all walks of life. They asked for privacy at that. So, and the lawyer, by the way, for Nick Reiner, this high-priced lawyer, said it's going to be a very, very complex trial. I don't see what's so complex about it. Did he do it? Answer the question. If that question gets answered yes or no, what's the complexity? There's also this statement that was made yesterday that I found, and I don't mean this in any derogatory, laughable, and that, they could ask for the death penalty. Well, what the hell does that mean in California? It means absolutely nothing. Gavin Newsom single-handedly, unilaterally let off the hook every person that was on California's death row. Because he denied the idea that they might actually be killed by the state for committing some of the most heinous crimes imaginable. So what does being on death row mean to anybody in California? It means absolutely nothing. You show me criminals, and I'll show you a party that embraces them. That would be the Democrat Party, no matter how heinous they are, like these narco-terrorists. You have Democrats like what's his face? This guy from Connecticut has been all over lately. You know who gets it? John Fetterman, and they can't stand him. You show me any illegal behavior, whether it's illegal immigration, whether it's these narco-terrorists, whether it's whatever, and you will find Democrats supporting those that commit illegal behavior. Okay, I may have to move the Venezuela stack till tomorrow because it's a lot, and I want to go through it in detail. But since we're talking about Reiner for a minute, I don't know whether we're going to be able to play all of this. I got two things. Somebody, and I'm not going to play this to inflame anybody, but while all of this discussion is going on, somebody on social media put a montage of some of the things that Rob Reiner has said about Donald Trump over the years. And so they said, if you want to know what Donald Trump, what is activating him, think about this. And so cut 8.
We have a racist in the White House. We have a sexist in the White House, and he is tearing away at the fabric of our democracy.
The single most unqualified human being to ever assume the presidency of the United States. He's mentally unfit.
People always say, he could redo All in the Family. I said, what do you mean? We're living it. We've got Archie in the White House. He always, when he quotes something that isn't him, and they're talking about Donald Trump, he goes, well, Donald Trump, bo, 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 bo. Every character is exactly the same. Well, Donald Trump, bo, 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 every time. And he always does that walk where he does like this, Always.
The problem he has, as far as I can see, is that he's a pathological liar. People have to understand our democracy is being taken away from us. Make no mistake, we have a year before this country becomes a full-on autocracy.
This is not a political party anymore. I don't know what this is. I believe there's a Christian nationalist movement that's very frightening. Do we want to continue democracy, or do we want to slip into fascism?
Yeah. So that is social media points of some of the things that Reiner has said about Trump. Now, I got a black talker here. You know I play stuff from social media. And this guy, let me just describe him for you briefly. He's an older guy, older gentleman, has a beard, white as snow. His beard is, and he's older, and he's just looking so laid back. But when he opened up his mouth, this is cut 7, what came out of it.
Okay, folks, let's get something straight right here and right now. The one thing I do respect about our president, Donald J. Trump, is this. The man will definitely speak his mind. There's nothing fake about him. It's not scripted, nor is he a big phony, like a lot of you individuals are. What you see in him is exactly what you're going to get. Now, people are upset with our president because of the comments following the slaying of Rob Reiner and his wife. Tragic, and God rest their souls. And the question being asked is, why wasn't our president, why didn't he speak more kindly about Rob Reiner? And my response to this is this. Why the would he? When this individual was alive, every time a microphone was placed in front of this man's face, he used to speak extremely negatively about our president, Donald J. Trump. Often saying things that were utterly untrue, unfounded, and this man was openly hostile toward Donald J. Trump. That didn't stop because of the passing. That didn't stop because of some type of feelings that were involved. And let's be perfectly honest with each other. We're all grown here, right? Death does not rewrite history. Not one bit. Just because someone passes on does not automatically obligate me, you, or anyone else of their respect, praise, or false sentiments. Although you like to hear it because it makes you feel good, that's not happening with everybody. I don't believe in respect for the dead. I believe in respect for the person and what they've done on this earth. If you respected someone while they were alive, you'll generally respect them in their passing. That's how that works. If you didn't respect them while they were alive, well, you know what happens. That doesn't magically change when they're gone. Not one bit. How you feel about someone in life is usually how you will feel about them in their passing. That's human. That's real. And our president has never pretended to be otherwise. He didn't celebrate the death. He didn't do that. He didn't mock their tragedy. He didn't do that either. But what he did do is say, rest in peace. And for Donald J. Trump, that's alone is standing on business. He has nothing to apologize for. We're living in a time where people demand forced sympathy, selective memory, and fake respect. Donald J. Trump, our president, refuses to play that type of game. He's never done that. And whether you like him or not, at least he's consistent. At least he's honest. And at least he didn't pretend to be something that he's not. Nor should you. So quit with the fake outrage, because there are a lot of you out there who have relatives, friends in your friend circles, people that you work with who have passed on, and you shitted on them. I know this because I know some individuals out there who have done it. So please, miss me with the fake outrage. Our president is human, and obviously he didn't like the man. I don't see why he would. He said what he said. Let's move on. This is Keith, the law enforcement OG.
Okay, that's enough there. We got it, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what you're going to think of that. I happen to think that there's another reason, by the way, that people, no matter what they feel for you in life, and I do believe this, no matter what people feel for you in life, I think there is a reason that many of us feel like it's improper to say something bad about the deceased. In some cases. And that is because the judge of our lives has it in his hands at that point. We don't. And so in death, many of us just say, okay, it's in God's hands. I'm not going to judge. He's their final judge, not me. But, that's an individual thing. I don't know what you're going to think about this guy's remarks, but I thought they were very well stated. And gives one a pause for think about Trump. The idea that, look, you're not going to pay him to be he's not a phony. And we all kind of know that. He has no filter, the way that many of us have filters to say, how is this going to look to everybody? He doesn't operate with that. So there you go. We got to take a break. So when we do come back, if we have time, like I said, I'm going to have to do Venezuela tomorrow because there's a lot there. Unless something else supersedes that.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
James Bo Snerdley here. We got to go, folks. May God bless. Protect each and every single one of you, your families, and your loved ones. Love and gratitude for your being here with me, allowing me to be with you.
Soon we'll be married and raise a family. Oh, yeah.
That harmony. Those voices. In the meantime, my friends, I bid you adieu.
Thanks for listening to The James Golden Show. You can hear The James Golden Show Saturday mornings at 7. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder,
what the heck is going on here?
Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Idea Gen Global Podcast with George Sifakis.
I'm George Sifakis. In a world overflowing with noise, there is one forum where the world's smartest voices connect, where visionaries sit at the same table as innovators, and great minds don't just talk, they act.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.